Mike Milch and Barry Norris clock in for another day at Belko Industries in Bogota, Colombia, except today, something's off. Strange new security guards are stationed at the gate, turning away the local staff without explanation. Inside, wide-eyed newcomer Danny Wilkins begins her first day, only to be told something chilling: every employee has a tracking device embedded in their skull for their protection in case of kidnapping. But the unease thickens. Belko's head of security, Evan Smith, has no idea who these guards are. Something sinister is brewing beneath the corporate comm. Then it hits, an eerie voice booms over the intercom, commanding the employees to kill two of their own, or face the consequences. Steel shutters slam down, trapping them inside like rats. Most think it's a sick joke, until the countdown ends, and four heads suddenly explode with horrifying precision. The office transforms into a blood-slicked nightmare. Mike, desperate and shaking, tries carving out his own tracker with a box cutter, but the voice coldly warns him to stop, or die. There's no way out. There's no bluff. The game has begun. A new announcement: 30 people must die within 2 hours, or 60 will be executed. Panic tears through the workplace. Mike steps up, preaching no killing. Barry, cold and calculating, sees survival in obeying the voice. Lines are drawn. Barry's group, Wendell, Terry, Antonio, and Bradley, begin torching their way into the locked armory. Mike's group, joined by his girlfriend Leandra, and colleagues Evan, Keith, Leota, Peggy, Vince, and Roberto, scramble to signal for help from the roof. Soldiers outside respond by opening fire. Hope dies quick. Then Barry, Wendell, and Terry ambush them on the stairwell. Evan is murdered, his keys stolen, and the armory falls into Barry's hands. Now armed to the teeth, Barry and Wendell turn executioner. They line up 30 terrified coworkers, Mike and Peggy among them. One by one, Barry pulls the trigger, coldly meting out death. But Danny, hiding in the basement like a ghost in the walls, cuts the lights just in time to halt the slaughter. Chaos erupts. Screams echo. Bullets fly. The office becomes a war zone. Coworkers turn on each other, with Bradley and Antonio beaten to death in the frenzy. Meanwhile, in the shadows of the elevator shaft, Danny and Roberto slip deeper into the belly of the beast. Barry and Wendell prowl the blood-soaked halls like predators, hunting down the few remaining employees scrambling to survive. The voice returns. It announces only 29 have died. Not enough. As the timer hits 0, punishment comes swift and brutal. 31 more people's heads erupt in bursts of gore as their trackers detonate. Terry, Leota, Peggy, Keith, all gone. Only 16 terrified survivors remain in the shattered office. But the voice isn't finished. One last directive echoes through the speakers: whoever racks up the highest kill count in the next hour will be spared. The final, horrifying twist. Barry wastes no time. He tracks down Danny and Roberto hiding deep in the elevator shaft. Danny escapes while Roberto is crushed and killed by the elevator. Elsewhere, Leandra stumbles upon Marty and Chet, two desperate survivors surgically removing unexploded trackers from the skulls of the dead. They're planning to use them as makeshift bombs to breach the wall. It's their last shot at freedom. But hope dies quick again. Wendell finds them and slaughters them both. Leandra, fueled by fury, takes him out before he can keep killing. Now there are 6: Vince, Mike, Barry, Danny, Leandra, and Liesel. But not for long. Liesel dies shortly afterward. Then Barry strikes again. He guns down Vince and Danny without hesitation, and shoots Leandra as she runs. Dying, bleeding out on the floor, she whispers her final words to Mike, a broken, beautiful goodbye drenched in love. Mike snaps. Rage takes over. He grabs a heavy tape dispenser and unleashes every ounce of grief and fury on Barry, pounding his skull into ruin until there's nothing left. Silence falls. The shutters lift. The game is over. Mike, bloodied and broken, is the lone survivor. Soldiers lead him to a hangar, where he meets the voice, a smug man claiming to be part of a global experiment in human behavior. Mike listens, barely holding himself together, as the man and his team begin their clinical questioning. But Mike has a plan. He sees the control panel, each switch tied to one of the original 80 trackers. Unbeknownst to them, Marty's salvage trackers are now planted on the soldiers and the voice. Without a word, Mike flips every switch, except his own. Explosions rip through the hangar. Mike finishes the survivors off with a stolen gun, methodically ending the monsters behind it all. Then, alone and staggering, he walks out into the daylight. Far above, a wall of monitors flickers to life. He's not alone. Other survivors from other games are being watched. Another voice speaks, ominous and calm. End Stage 1. Commence Stage 2. If you were trapped in the Belko building, would you try to survive without killing, or do whatever it takes to make it out alive? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.